Hello, my name is Brian Burnham. This is my personal introduction video for AEP 855, Module 1. I'm going to try my best to be succinct and quick. There is a lot of information from the readings that I put in here, so I'm not going to read every single slide verbatim. You can pause the video and read any of my information if you'd like. I'm also going to try to do my best to navigate the pages. I've put the picture of my camera in the best place that I could based on the information that's on each slide. It does cover up some. There's no way for me to avoid it. Real quick, that's a picture of me. Obviously, I'm a football coach at Summit High School where I teach. So that's a picture of me on the sideline. We were fortunate enough to win the 5A state championship back in December. So that's a picture of our gold ball from that night. And then my sister and niece were there to support me, so that's a picture of us down on the field after the game. Our school logo is right here in the middle. We are the Summit Spartans. And then I went ahead and included the school that I attended for college, MTSU. We are the Blue Raiders, which I think is a Pegasus. That's what this is. And then that's a picture of Johnny Red Floyd Stadium in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. As far as demographics of the school, Summit High School is located in Thompson Station, Tennessee. We have approximately 1,700 students. It fluctuates between 1,650 and 1,710 based on move-ins and things like that. We are the third fastest growing county in Tennessee. As I said, we won the 5A football state championship in 2020. As far as the geographic location of Summit High School and the county that I teach in, we're located about 25 miles south of Nashville. Due to the central of the state location, and Nashville being close to the center of the southeast region, a lot of corporate businesses have moved their corporate offices and headquarters to the Williamson County area, and I think that's what's contributed to the fast growth. It is cheaper to own property in Williamson County than it is in Metro Davidson County, which is where Nashville is located, although not by much. It's expensive enough in Williamson County to live that I can't afford to live there, so I actually stay and live in the county adjacent to where I teach. Biggest challenges of the past year, probably maintaining a full staff in my classroom. Our TAs don't get paid very well in the county, so their job description, it's tough. They're responsible for helping with toileting of students. We've got 5 in my classroom. 4 of them are one-to-ones due to safety and behavioral needs. We had to also let one of our TAs go before the pandemic started, before the summer. So that did nothing but contribute to the problem in the first semester once we came back on campus. We were completely short-staffed the entire first semester. We had 2 adults rotating in from the special ed department, which we call student support services. They were coming in and covering daily, but it was somebody different every day, which created an ever-revolving door of adults that were working with my students. And we're talking about students who don't adjust to change very well in the first place. To be honest, the first semester almost forced my hand. If it wasn't for coaching football and the enjoyment that I have working with the staff that we have and the kids that we've got, I seriously contemplated, transferring or somewhere else or resigning and then starting back in the fall, after taking a semester off. What I've learned about myself in the past year, honestly, that I'm stronger than I realized. I also have realized that I'm older and more demanding of myself and my time. I've been doing this a long time. I've been teaching for 17 years. And that I'm willing to potentially go elsewhere to enjoy the position and make sure that I'm having a good time when I go to work. I don't know if that's the right attitude, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. All right, this is the part that I'm going to go through even quicker than I already went through the other information. Critical reflection. This is over the first article that we read. Mindsets. It's a leader's set of assumptions, methods, or notations that the person has and which shape many of his or her beliefs and actions. The 3 mindsets that were mentioned were all students can learn, teacher collaboration over isolation, and happiness and optimism. I've picked some quotes from the article. You can read those. They're labeled as A underneath each number. My personal opinion is I agree with all of these mindsets. And I think that if we were taking these 3 things into our day-to-day routines as educators, then we're having a positive effect on the school. I'm fortunate enough to work in a school that has a principal who believes in these types of things. Dispositions. Learning how to leverage your positive dispositions and the skills to mitigate your negative dispositions are the skills that great leaders have. The 5 dispositions that were mentioned in the reading were confidence, being a risk taker but being decisive, having a sense of humor, being empathetically assertive, and also being a learner. I think these are all important dispositions to have. However, in my 17 years of being an educator, I'm not sure I've had a principal who has all 5 of them. Having all 5 would be some sort of super bonus in my opinion. I do think they are all important though. I think we can try and strive to be these things, but I'm not sure that there's very many people out there that would hit all 5 all the time. Maybe I'm wrong. And then finally, practices. The 3 practices that were mentioned in the reading is focus on and prioritizing, examining feedback and data, and emotional intelligence. As far as these go, I think there's a hierarchy to these practices, but all 3 are important. I think numbers 1 and 3 are slightly more important than number 2. In terms of being an effective individual building leader, I think you can always have an assistant principal or someone else in your building to help with the others if and when necessary. And then the final article was about the 8 principles, ethical principles of effective leaders. Those are 1, personal courage, 2, public interest ahead of self, 3, self-control, self-discipline, and integrity, 4, task and employee centeredness, 5, recognizing talent, 6, requiring high ethics from everyone, 7, sensitivity and understanding, and 8, inclusiveness. Like I said, you can read, I pulled snippets out of each one and put those on here from the article written by Lynch in 2018. I gave credit. Hopefully I, acknowledged those correctly. But I think these are all great. I think these are all extremely important, and I didn't really feel like any of these had a hierarchy over others. As far as my own self-critique, I will read this because I think this is an important part of this presentation. As I have stated on each slide, except for the previous one due to spacing availability, I agree with all of these lists. All 3 mindsets, all 5 dispositions, all 3 practices, and all 8 principles. I do place a little less emphasis on 1 or 2 as I mentioned on the slide. However, I do think they are all necessary to being an effective leader. Personally, I'm not very good at a few of them. For example, as I stated earlier, I recognize that a weakness of mine is examining feedback and data. However, I also think that I can still be an effective leader if I have that recognition and also employ someone on my team who possesses that practice as a strength. Nobody's perfect, but recognizing our faults and maintaining a growth mindset to improve on them, along with having people around you to collaborate with that makes up for your downfalls, is the best way to be an effective leader, in my opinion. This allows us to be the best educators and building leaders we can be, which allows our students to be as successful as they want to be. That's just kind of a rundown of how I feel and where, I think I can improve, and I will always try to continue to improve. But I also know that I can put a team around me to make up for my downfalls. And then here's my reference page. Thank you guys. It's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be, but I also want to make sure that I'm thorough and you guys get a chance to get to know me as an individual. I look forward to working with everybody this semester, and you just let me know if you have any questions or you need anything. Thanks, guys.